Hey everybody, welcome back inside another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is August 27th, 2013, and yes, you have wasted another perfectly good summer. Days are getting shorter, the kids are going back to school, all your white folks are getting crazy about pumpkin spice. It's that time of year again. Just a few things for the show, be kind of short, only a couple of kit releases and things like that. A couple of kit teases, one of which is kind of puzzling, but we'll talk about it anyway. Real quick, on the kit announcement side, for November, Fujimi has added another kit to the pile here, and that's going to be a reshoot of their 1/20th scale Ferrari 641-2. That is a 1990 season F1 car that can be built to either the Mexican or France Grand Prix specifications, your choice. So for people who are interested in what is a borderline historic F1 car at this point, when it is 28 seasons ago at this point, that kit will be coming back out. Now, we got a couple of teases from B-Max this week, one of which is really a head-scratcher because it's a duplicate of something already, and that is going to be this. They're apparently going to do a Rover Metro 6R4 rally car. I'm only puzzled and concerned, I guess, about this, basically because, well, there's a Belkits version already planned and approved. We talked about that in another video. The Compu version, because the CompuVision and the Rothmans, version and everything like that. I don't see, and maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I just completely underestimate the power of the rally kit collecting, building community out there, that there is necessarily a market for two of what is exactly the same car. The success or failure thereof of this kit, I think, really will depend on a few factors. One, if they can get it out before the Belkits one, because it'll be the first one available. Two, I think people are a little more inclined to believe the Belkits kit will be better quality than the B-Max will be a better quality kit than the Belkits kit. I think that has a lot to do, though, with people who built some of the early Belkits models. The current Belkits stuff, I think, at least within its buildability and just general quality, is on par with anything else that's going on right now. Tamiya is Tamiya, and then you have everybody else sort of clumped up there at the top trying to take second place. And the Escort, I haven't seen a Manta in person yet, but all the parts, they look like they're decent. I have both of the Golfs, or the Golfs, both of the oh, I can't think what the heck they're called now. The Polos, both of the Polo Volkswagens, which is really where sort of Belkits sort of turned a corner. Now, the first Polo, the decals are bad, but they've gone to Cartograph decals. They've made that. They realized they didn't make that commitment, as it were, to quality, and their kits are not as bad as they were. And there's a whole sort of they were a new company, fresh out of the middle of nowhere. And so some of their first releases were soft in detail. Some of them were a little hard to build and things like that. The third thing about this B-Max kit is it has to be full detail. Because at this point, Belkits already said there's going to be full detail. We talked about it when we talked about the Belkits. We're like, well, if it's a full detail kit, it must be the engine being very visible. So I went and pulled an image of what the engine in a 6R4 looks like, and it's they call this mid-engined. I don't know how much further back this engine could be out of the middle without it falling out of the back of the car. But yeah, holy moly, is that visible through the back window, through the side windows, through the front windows. Obviously, just part of the space frame of the car. There's a couple different versions of the intake here. Not all of them have this giant, looks like a coffee can air filter. There's a couple different intake setups with either sort of 6 ITBs, although not technically that, or just 2 big intake cans. There's also this great big one. Now this is looks like a CompuVision car, and it's the way the car currently runs, so it may not be the original intake on it, but be that as it may, you get the idea of how prominent the engine is and why this kit has to be full detail. But if BMAX can get out a full detail, quality rally car before Bell Kits can, and that really depends on where Bell Kits is in the development of it. Obviously, BMAX is a 3D prototype of it printed out. I think BMAX's kit has the potential to be more successful and do damage in overall terms to Bell Kits. Now, you're sort of selling to two different markets at that point, because Bell Kits is obviously much more European focused than BMAX is. I would argue BMAX, mainly through their distribution system with Aoshima, is a great deal more globally focused than Bell Kits is globally focused. Now, Bell Kits is thrilled to sell stuff to Americans and everything else like that, but they really don't have a well-developed distribution chain. The Opel Mantas are supposed to be a September release in Japan. Now, Bell Kits distributes their kits in Japan and therefore Asia through Aoshima. Aoshima is the point of all things rally at this point, really, because BMAX and Bell Kits going through them. Excuse me. But that is going to be 5 months down the line since those kits were released in Europe. They're not going to really... They're nominally a few dollars cheaper, actually, through getting like at HobbyLink Japan. If you were willing to wait those 5 months to get the rally kits, I was, because what am I going to do? Build them when I get them? I kill me. But if they can get this out faster, it'll also be cheaper. Because even the Lancia Delta S4, which is going to be a full detail kit with a separate front end and a separate rear piece and full detail engine and things like that, is only, trying to think of what the actual price is on those retail, is 4,800 yen retail. Now, the kits aren't going to sell for that at like HobbyLink Japan and things like that. They'll be a little bit cheaper, but even 4,800 yen retail is less than $45, whereas the curbside versions of these Bell Kits, Polos, Escorts, and all the things like that, have been in the mid-$50 to lower $60 range without shipping. So you talk about a kit, two competing kits that effectively could be, I don't know necessarily they can run the same livery. I suppose if people are willing to take licensing money, they could be the same liveries, but whatever the liveries end up being for BMAX versus whatever they are for Bell Kits and things like that, there will obviously more likely be aftermarket decal support for these things as well. I don't know. I think you sit down and you compare two kits. If they were identical, completely identical, like there was no one's better than the other proportion-wise, and they both build up, like a run-of-the-mill average model kit expects to, if one of them is $25 cheaper than the other one, I could tell you which ones they're going to sell more of, and it'll be the BMAX one. So, very interesting with that. There's been no mention of the BMWs ever since that little spot model accidental information release, but this is, an official thing. And then speaking of official things and whatnot, we got this 3D rendering, a CAD rendering, of a Porsche. A lot of people will be like, that's a 911. So what? Yeah, well, this is a 911 SCRS. This was Porsche's Group B rally car in the very beginning of Group B. Now, they were trying to develop a 959-based Group B rally car, but they were just running into production delays and development delays and all these situations where the car was just not going to be ready in time. So they decided, well, hey, you know what we could do? We could just sort of jiggle the handle on a 911, and we could enter that. This car has several famous liveries, Rothmans, Belga, a few other things as well. It wasn't a fabulously successful Group B car, because otherwise you'd be like, oh my god, a 911! Wow, I can't believe they're doing that. But yeah, I've seen a couple complaints about this. Why are they doing this on another Porsche? But it's a Group B thing. Group B. Oh my god, we're gonna get. At this point, I believe we'll get every Group B car that ever ran. If you're gonna start doing this sort of thing, where you're getting sort of the also rans. Now, where is my Ford RS200? That's a good question. If you're gonna do all of the Group B cars, but there's other things we could do with this over its lifespan. So I can certainly see why they've, why this is a reasonable choice. And of course, they have a Porsche license right now from the 935, so might as well use that license while we have it. So yeah, be interesting to see how this comes out as far as what they're going to do with it. Maybe we'll see a little more information at the hobby show at the end of September in Japan. But so that's was also teased. So some interesting things there. The decals for Studio 27 for the end of August are going to be a couple more rally liveries for the 2002 Ti. One's going to be the Jägermeister livery from the Olympia Rally in 1973. The other one is, I'm not sure exactly who sponsored this as the main sponsorship. I think it must be Septagil and BP for this 1971 Monte Carlo Rally version. And also you see down here at the bottom a set of 767B Charge 202. I think this is Japanese sports car prototype series decals for the Hasegawa kit. Shunko has done a set of these decals for a while, but Studio 27 has never done this specific livery for that specific kit before. So that is going to be a new set of decals, even though it's an oldie time livery, as it were, for 1989. Yeah, so it's just not what I'm looking for personally, but it'd be cool for some people. Also, they're going to be doing a new photo etch set for the Hasegawa Toyota 88C. And they've done one for the Tamiya one. Of course, the Tamiya one's out of production, and the Hasegawa one has been reissued here a couple of times recently. So they're going to be doing a new photo etch series for that for anybody who is interested, and of course builds Group C race cars. So there have been 3 releases for this week. They're all Hasegawa kits, so we'll hop through these real quick. First up, you have the Moon-equipped Volkswagen Beetle Type 1. Reissue of their existing Volkswagen Beetle Type 1 that they've done a number of times. There actually already is a Moonized version of this kit. This is a new livery, Moon-equipped version. So there's that. Not a lot to say about that. I mean, same kit as it always is, just a different set of decals. You have a reissue of this, which is the Toyota Celica Turbo 4-wheel drive 1993 or 1998. I can't. The box art is hard to read on my monitor. Just sitting here looking at it. It is 1993. All right, I was right first time. 1993 RAC Rally winner, so the Royal Auto Club Rally. Somebody, when this box art was shown, was like, there was no snow, but if you go look at the 1993 RAC Rally, there most certainly was snow in England that year in that rally. So that kit has been reissued. It's, you know, a curbside like all of their other rally cars are, just a version of this kit that hasn't been out for a little while. And then last but not least, we got a reissue in a new series, if you will, of the Subaru 360. So this kit is the same Subaru 360 it's always been. There's nothing new about this car, per se. The big deal here is the Zekasha tie-in. This is a cartoon, obviously. And this is a diorama in this kit. We talked about this when it was announced originally. This is sort of an acrylic display for this. It was kind of hard to describe, and they really didn't have any pictures of it to show you. But so this is what you're going to get. The kit, obviously, is the Subaru 360, and you get this sort of background of the box art, effectively, and then you get this little acrylic shape of the girls waving at you, and then you stick decals to it. So there's like little pieces of grass that are on the decal sheet that you obviously don't take off. They don't, you don't water slide them. You just cut them out and set them there. And then you have this acrylic piece of plastic that you apply the girls to. And then there's this, I believe it's cardboard-ish background display that you fold up, and Shazam! You have a cartoon, a Japanese cartoon diorama. So yeah, it's something different, you know. Every little bit of reissuing an old kit with a little bit of new bells and whistles included, helps pay for the next new toolkit from Hasegawa. So all for it. That, guys, I believe really does wrap it up for this one. Like I said, not a whole heck of a lot going on this week. We should have, hopefully, later this week, the stuff from perhaps the All Japan Model and Hobby Show, because we're getting right up to that time where the information, should be released for pre-orders for the fall. Hasegawa always releases their pre-orders on the 1st of the month, and so we're right up to that, and the next time that they would release information would be within the confines of what should be covered for the hobby show, so we should find out exactly what they're doing in the next couple of weeks, if not this week. And then we have a show to do at the beginning of September to tell you about all the kits you'll be purchasing in September. And it's a pretty full page, because round 2 is going to make up for their rather lackluster couple of months where they've only been releasing a thing or two. And they've got, let's see, about 8 or 9 kits coming out for the month of September. So, and we'll get all of course, this week we should get all the releases to cover up the rest of the Hasegawa kits, to get the Aoshima things in for August as well, and we'll see where we go from there. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys on the other side.